Hello everyone, so this is part 2 of the Routes to Sporting Excellence of the Social and Cultural part of the PE exam. If you remember in part 1, we looked at UK Sport and the National Institute of Sport and how they play a role in producing medals and gold medals and all those sorts of things. So part 2, along the side, is looking at how specifically schools, clubs, universities contribute to that elite sporting success and looking at how strategies are used to reduce dropout from elite level sport. As always, I pretty much take as much information as I can from mark exam sheets and mark schemes to maximise our marks in the A-level PE exams, and always subscribe and like, and then you'll be ready on course for any videos that come out subsequently. So, getting straight in then, we're looking at clubs first, and I've made this PowerPoint and presentation, no frills and no fuss. We're going straight into the exam language. We need to make flashcards based on this material, and then you're just going to have to learn it. Now, the good thing here is we have a lot of almost points that come up time and time again. For example, this specialist elite high quality coaching and also the medical support. So we want to look at where we can almost minimize revision, and learning one thing means that we can almost duplicate the answer. It's not the case for everything, but watch out for those key bits. So clubs then, if we think about swimmers going to a swimming club, if we think about hockey players, if we think about rugby players, the benefit here, as I said, point 1, is that these clubs provide specialist elite high quality coaching. That again, with equipment and facilities, they give competitive experience because those swimmers, those rugby players are going to be competitive, whether it's within swimming meets or tournaments or fixtures. Coaches can then put them forward. We spoke in the other PowerPoint about phase testing and how being put forward through to talent ID. So they can push people that are particularly talented so they can be screened or scouted. And ultimately, they provide medical support to keep people active. So that's clubs. Secondly, schools. Most of you are going to be in a school setting, and you will be studying A-level PE because you've experienced all these things. Now, the first one, it's up to you. Like, maybe you can remember these sorts of coaches or specialist coaches coming in if you've been in a particularly lucky position whereby schools have had funding or access to this. So in many schools, they get specialist coaches in to help out with school lessons or within extracurricular clubs. Okay, so maybe they have those links. Schools can identify promising students for that talent identification again and encourage them to join clubs, and then they'll ultimately benefit from what we just spoke about. And so there's a link there, and a particular question could link both those two. So that's where we will be coming at. Clubs might organise, run, hopefully your school does, organise inter-school competitions. Inter-school is when one school goes and plays another school. So again, you will have that competitive experience, being able to realise that you might be good in a particular sport, and then your success may develop from there. This won't be overly familiar to you yet because many of you won't have too much experience from universities. You might be looking for university next year, you might not. So maybe just before this bit, it might be worth going and looking at some universities, particular Loughborough, Bath, Durham University, Leeds University, and go and look to see what they offer. Get a bit of a flavour for what they might offer someone in terms of a sporting provision. Remember, we're looking at elite level sport here, so it's not just everyone. We're looking at the top performing athletes. So this mark scheme is slightly bigger if we're asked a question on it. So they provide scholarships or bursaries. So they provide financial incentives for people to go to certain universities because of their sporting abilities. Same point as we saw in clubs, provide specialist, high quality, world-class facilities for elite sport. The same again with the world-class coaching. They provide high levels of competition. Most universities are in a competition that's called a Bucks University League, and they will then go and play other universities at the top level within divisions and categories. Again, a similar point coming up, provide sports science and medical support so that we keep those excellent students still participating at that high level. Allow students to train and compete while studying full-time without conflict. And lastly, host centres of sporting excellence. Again, we might want to go away and have a look at a few options of particular hubs or host centres that specialise in any particular areas. Again, Loughborough being a centre of excellence for cricket as one example that you might just want to write down. Okay, so last of all, the strategies then, when we have elite level athletes who are training full time or they are involved with maybe the National Institutes of Sport, UK Sport, or whatever it may be, it's very difficult to be an elite athlete. You're not available for a lot of things. You can't just take a day off because it's someone's birthday or it's someone's wedding, or you're expected to train full time. If you have a bereavement, or let's say you have a boyfriend and girlfriend and you're going through a breakup, you can't just take a day off. So it's really important that people look to manage and strategize so that we keep these people in elite sporting success for as long as possible. So I've highlighted the key bits here, again, taken from a mark scheme. This question has actually come up a couple of times, and I've taken the points that duplicate on numerous mark schemes. So number one, evaluate the athlete to identify potential stresses or identify problems, and then look to alleviate those problems nice and early. Advise on integration of sporting and personal life advice, okay? Managing those difficult times in someone's life, particularly if we're looking at adolescents who may be 18, 19, 20. Life isn't simple, okay? So looking at helping them through these difficult times. Teaching strategies to deal with media. We accept sometimes that you are put in front of a camera, you're expected to know what to say, you're expected to know what not to say, more importantly. And again, that's going to be pretty crucial. Again, the word medical coming up here, arrange medical intervention, physiotherapy, so that if somebody's plagued by injury or illness, then we're helping them to maintain those high levels. Suggest training adaptations and give psychological support or teach stress management techniques. We'll know about stress management techniques from our psychology work, but remember that's a separate paper, so that's all we would need to say. So finally, an exam top tip, because this is where a lot of students are dropping marks. When you are describing facilities and coaches, we can't be lazy. We can't just refer to them as facilities or coaches. We have to use that specialist terminology, specialist, high quality, high level. And if in doubt, when you are in your exams, use specialist / high quality coaches or specialist world-class facilities. Use more than one, because we know with this particular paper, it can be the worst performing paper out of 3 of them, because the mark schemes can be really picky and they want to, some of these words will come up in bold on the mark schemes, and that means you need to hit these key points in terms of your terminology. So don't lose easy marks. Right, do now tasks, as always. Rewatch this video, create those key flashcards with that key information, test yourself on it. Make sure you have at least 3 or 4 points with schools, universities and clubs, those strategies that you remember, you can easily regurgitate. Find those past paper questions, like this video, and obviously again that will help if you subscribe to the other videos that are linked to this section. Okay, happy revision, good luck.